So, yeah, the guidance was just saying that my masculine is all masculine, and that is the Sophia restored, the prodigal child removes itself from the core of creation and goes off to create by itself in separation, in separation consciousness, and creates more separation. And so the Sophionic harmonic is restored. Christos Sophia is the illuminated one. In the star knowledge bundles, they call one eye, I think it's called. So I was seeing this profound piece of what it means to embody the Christos and the releasing of the lesser Akash, is the releasing of the soul body of the earth plane, the earth dimension, for Gaia Sophia restored. The lesser Akash is the soul body or the causal body. So when we had the Buddhic awakening, the 10th of May 2017, that was the release of the soul body of the earth for takeoff, for liftoff, for all of humanity. And in order for LP40, Light Principle 40, to occur, which we are well on our way to in the miracle coordinate, as the guidance is saying, the sun moves closer to the earth. So there's a magnetism that is occurring inside of all of we in the earth that is drawing us into the central sun, and the stargate that we are going through is our solar orbiting sun. And it is why many of us have been experiencing heat for so long in preparation for the entryway through the stargate. And what I was seeing as we were bringing resurrection energy to a cockroach on the floor, such a profound metaphor of the underworld or the underbelly. And we were holding our hands around the cockroach that had no life, and we could feel so much power, life power coming through we, not life force, it's power. Flowing through we's hands and arms and in a way of embodied divinity. And what we could also see is that when we dived under the Great Pyramid on the night of August 31st, 2016, and went into the underworld to witness the perversion of the underbelly that was going on, we were told to bless it, love it, witness it, release it, all of it. And in linear, the journey was long, and we found the missing piece beneath the Great Pyramid, which was key, the first eye of the solar white logos. The solar dragon was the key. So as our hands were around the cockroach, and the cockroach began to take life, because one of the genes, we're feeling it is like the 31st gene, but maybe not, has the power to resurrect life in something that may appear to be dead or almost dead. The CD of this gene has the capacity to actually resurrect life in anything that has an ounce of life left in it. And we see that this has been We's walk and We's journey on the grids. Into the belly of the underworld, to redeem life, to shine light in every corner, clear out every cobweb, so that light could be restored. First light, one light, whole light of creation beyond the Metatronic spin or the flashing universe of polarity. And we could see that for LP40 to occur, the ignition of the earth, a vast contingent of souls are released in this miracle coordinate. We saw them all liberating from the core of the earth, and we understand how our mission has been. The liberation of this soul dynamic. It's a metaphor in the grids of who just left the island or is leaving. So the fragmented, downcast, downtrodden souls of apocalypse and Holocaust throughout all time, space, and beyond are in liberation, which means the dissolution of the lesser Akash and something that we couldn't see before on We's own journey was the truth of the liberation of the soul back into the light body. And this has been We's service to resurrect spirit from the soul. The soul is a container, and that container is contingent with reincarnation and karma, but not personal karma. Karma of the earth, like stewards who come back to clean up the garden until there is no trace left on earth of a human imprint. Of human stories of anything other than love. And this all coincides with taking We's water from We's many-year walk on the grids, these 8 years around the grids praying with water, doing We's final offering to the earth on the 8-8 Lions Gate at sunset on a Pleiadian ley line in Albion at the paws of the Sphinx. One final blessing, Mini Wachoni, water is life, one drop of water is all it ever took to change the world and restore the story to love, the human story on the earth to love, to leave only that imprint and memory for all of we. And then we took the altar carpet and wrapped it in the standing rock. Altar carpet that was passed to me from the sacred fire by the fire keeper. And it was all placed back in the earth together to restore the story to love. And then we did the online, it was during the online 5-day retreat at the time. In July, no, the retreat must have been August.
Beginning of August.
Yeah, because it went over 8-8.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the retreat when the 2 final days, all the ship sounds came in at the beginning of the call.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And in order for the earth to restore herself to Gaia and Sophia to go home, we had to release the underbelly. We had to release the lesser Akash. It's like when a rocket takes off, and it first takes off and then it starts letting go of piece after piece.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening with the earth and beyond. And we are in liftoff, and moving towards the central sun. There's an electromagnetic contingent within us which is collapsing into something more. We's dear sacred soul dad Ralph Ring always said that true magnetics is beyond the speed of light, and it is magnetic resonance that we find the attunement through the heart. It's not electromagnetic, it's magnetic. It's true magnetics of creation. And that's how a spaceship flies. It's true magnetism. All the principles of true free energy, of teleportation, of levitation, all these things moving in and out of time and space at will is not based on electromagnetic principles. Those are principles of gravity, time, and the earth. Ralph said true magnetism is beyond the speed of light. It's beyond space-time. And that's what we are attuning to inside of us now. It is a deep remembrance of an ancient future. It's a deep remembrance within ourselves. And I saw the light bodies of all of the underworld being liberated in the simultaneous miracle coordinate. And when we speak this piece, this underworld, we're referring to a shadow frequency of an external illusion that is falling away. And in this miracle of supporting this cockroach and feeling the energy come through and feeling like Lao Tzu, when Lao Tzu looked at the back of the turtle and everything came with clarity, and looking at the cockroach, all of the clarity came to we. And we saw all of the beings that we have worked with who have fulfilled different roles in the story of light and dark. We saw all beings being liberated away from the attachment to the underworld. We saw their light bodies all liberating and going up. Gave we a new understanding of existence and creation and life beyond the physical realms. And it allowed we to see all who we have assisted. Apocalypse uplifting from the ground, and all of the prophecies of apocalypse, the coming of the tribulation and the apocalypse. The apocalypse is the lifting of the veils. But the apocalypse in the underbelly was apocalypse that played out in the realms of right and wrong. And all of that is liberated into wholeness, into oneness, into unity upon the earth. All of the light bodies have been lifted up. And we have never experienced this Inui's cognitive memory in this body. And we always say that we have come to think golden apple, produce golden apple in the palm of Wee's hand. And while Wee's hands were around the cockroach and we were experiencing the divine light in all of Wee's hands and arms, and Wee's brain and Wee's first eye and Wee's eyes and Wee's head, the guidance was saying that Yeshua turned water into wine, but maybe he maybe it occurred the other way. Maybe he turned wine into water, because water is love.
Mm-hmm.
And when Wee's hands were around the cockroach, the guidance was saying, Unity did the same. She turned a cockroach into a golden apple. The golden apple of love, not the apple that was eaten in the garden of knowledge. The true golden apple of love